As of today, I was looking at the view counts for these videos. Eala is in first place among all 29 of these top Australian Open players. I think at the time she had about 100.
The insane gamble has been revealed, the Manila mission and the Abu Dhabi showdown that could ultimately define or derail her career. Welcome back to Tennis Stories, your ultimate destination for the most explosive and unfiltered stories from the world of professional tennis. If you believed the 2026 season would unfold in a predictable way, think again. We are only 3 weeks into the new year and the tennis world is already blazing with excitement. The Australian Open in Melbourne has just concluded. The trophies have been awarded and the confetti has been cleared away, but the real drama is only beginning. At the center of this storm of ambition, pressure, and fierce determination stands one name, Alexandria. The 20-year-old Filipino sensation didn't simply compete at the Australian Open. She transformed Court 6 into a cultural spectacle, ignited a media storm across Southeast Asia, and delivered a series of statements so bold and daring that tennis analysts are still trying to process what they heard.
And also Eala, who is clearly one of the biggest stars. And as of today, I was looking at the view counts for these videos. Eala is in first place among all 29 of these top Australian.
We're talking about a player who refuses to settle for being just a feel-good story or a regional hero. She wants the throne. She wants a place in the top 20, and she is willing to risk everything to reach it. Her health, her ranking points, even her peace of mind. But Eala's journey doesn't exist in isolation. While she is preparing her attack on the rankings, a teenage revolution is unfolding right before our eyes. For the first time in 17 years, 5 teenagers have stormed into the third round of a Grand Slam at the same time. At the same moment, we are witnessing the rise of a new generation led by the fearless Ivik, the incredibly talented Mira Andreeva, and a group of hungry young stars who refuse to wait patiently for their opportunity. The old guard is officially on notice. The future is not arriving tomorrow. It already showed up in Melbourne with a blistering forehand down the line and a roar of pure determination. So buckle up, tennis fanatics. We are about to take you on a deep, no-holds-barred journey through Alexandra Eala's blockbuster month, the shocking scheduling gamble that has everyone talking, and the teenage takeover that is rewriting the record books. This is the story the mainstream media isn't telling you. This is Champions Tennis, and we are pulling back the curtain on everything. Let's set the stage. It's January 2026, and Alexandra Eala walks into the Australian Open carrying the hopes of an entire nation on her shoulders.
Filipino player Alexandra Eala was greeted by hundreds of Filipino fans during her practice session out the back of Melbourne Park this morning. Eala is number 49 in the world and
the Philippines has never produced a top 20 singles player, never celebrated a Grand Slam champion, and never had someone truly break through at the highest level of women's tennis. Eala is viewed as the chosen one, the hopeful star expected to change everything for the nation. She is the player many believe could rewrite the country's tennis history. No pressure, right? When she arrives in Melbourne for the Australian Open, she holds the world ranking of number 49.
Even when I was up, I knew that she could come back at any given moment. I've seen her do it before. So, yeah, thank you guys for coming out here. And I know you're mostly...
That ranking places her near her career-high territory, the kind of position that gets attention but guarantees absolutely nothing. She's stuck on the edge. Too strong for the developmental tours, yet not firmly established enough to comfortably enter the main draws of the biggest tournaments without grinding through qualifying rounds. It's a kind of tennis limbo, and escaping it requires something extraordinary. A signature victory, a deep run at a major event, a statement performance that simply cannot be ignored. When the draw is released, Eala finds herself facing Alicia Parks, the powerful American known for a massive serve capable of blasting opponents off the court when it's firing. On paper, the matchup looks winnable. Parks is dangerous but inconsistent, exactly the kind of opponent Eala needs to defeat if she truly intends to chase a top 20 ranking. But what nobody expected was what happened before the first ball was even struck. The match was scheduled on Court 6, one of the smaller show courts at Melbourne Park. Tournament organizers believed they had everything under control. They were wrong. They dramatically underestimated what many fans now call the Eala effect. Hours before the match began, something unusual started to unfold. Lines began forming, not the calm, orderly cues typical at events like Wimbledon Championships. These were long, winding lines of fans stretching past food courts, circling merchandise stands, and clogging the walkways between courts. Filipino flags appeared everywhere, worn like capes and waved proudly, turning the area around Court 6 into a sea of red, blue, white, and yellow. The atmosphere became electric, almost overwhelming in its intensity. Tournament officials tried to control the flow of people, but it was like trying to hold back the ocean with a bucket. By the time Alexandra Eala walked out of the tunnel, every seat was filled. Every standing spot was taken. Fans were stacked 3 deep along railings, leaning over fences, doing whatever they could just to catch a glimpse of their hero. Players on nearby courts even complained about the noise spilling over. This wasn't just a tennis match anymore, it had become a movement. Then the match began, and it delivered exactly what the crowd hoped for. Park started aggressively, launching her trademark baseline power shots and trying to end rallies quickly. But Eala, giving up significant height and power, refused to be intimidated. She dug in and fought for every point. Her whipping left-handed forehand, often compared to a young Rafael Nadal, began carving sharp angles that forced Parks into desperate scrambles across the court. The rallies turned into exhausting battles of patience and precision. Eala mixed heavy topspin to push Parks deep behind the baseline, sliced low to pull her forward, and then fired flat shots down the line when the opening appeared. It was a tactical masterclass. Parks captured the first set, but the scoreline didn't tell the whole story. Eala wasn't backing down. Not long after, another chapter of her rise unfolded at the Miami Open. There, Eala stepped onto the court and began dismantling opponents with calm, calculated precision, as if the entire run had been planned months in advance. She defeated Jelena Ostapenko, a Grand Slam champion known for one of the most explosive forehands in the sport, making the victory look almost routine. Then she eliminated Madison Keys, another powerhouse whose shots carry incredible speed and force. The upsets kept piling up. Social media began buzzing, and suddenly the tennis world was whispering Eala's name in conversations that would have sounded absurd just weeks earlier. Then came the moment that changed everything, the quarterfinal against world number 2 Iga Swiatek. Swiatek is the kind of player who, at her peak, makes elite opponents look ordinary. A multiple French Open champion, she had dominated the tour for years and carried herself with the confidence of someone who knows she is the best on the court most days. The match was supposed to be straightforward. Most analysts predicted Eala would gain valuable experience and likely lose in straight sets. The script seemed written before the match even started. But nobody told Eala. What followed over the next 90 minutes was the kind of performance that makes fans grab the person next to them in disbelief. Eala played the match of her life. From the very first point, she attacked Swiatek's second serve, something even top-ranked players often struggle to do. She chased down balls that looked like certain winners, instantly turning defense into offense. She matched Swiatek's intensity point for point, game for game. When the final ball dropped into the net off Swiatek's racket and the umpire announced the result, the scoreboard read 6-2, 7-5 in favor of Alexandra Eala. The stadium exploded. The internet went wild. Across the Philippines, millions of fans celebrated as if a national holiday had been declared. With that victory, Eala didn't just win a tennis match. She shattered a 104-year barrier and became the first Filipina to break into the WTA Top 100. More than 100 million Filipinos suddenly had a tennis superstar to rally behind. She became living proof that players from outside the traditional power centers of tennis could not only compete with the best in the world, but defeat them on the sport's biggest stages. The rest of the 2025 season confirmed that her Miami breakthrough was no fluke. Eala kept winning. She captured her first WTA 125 title in Guadalajara, battled through the European clay season, and continued improving on a surface that often overwhelms young players. At the U.S. Open, she made history again by becoming the first player representing the Philippines to win a Grand Slam singles match in the Open era. By the end of 2025, Eala had surged into the top 50, earned the Philippine Sportswriters Association Female Athlete of the Year award for the second straight time, and established herself as one of the most exciting young talents in tennis. But truly great athletes don't spend time admiring past achievements. They get back to work. And that's exactly what Eala did. If 2025 was her introduction to the world, 2026 has become her declaration that the introduction was only the opening act. She has carried the momentum forward while dealing with the added pressure of expectations, scrutiny, and the challenge of defending ranking points. Yet she has handled it all with the calm maturity of someone far beyond her years. At the Dubai Tennis Championships, she once again proved she belongs among the sport's rising elite. Filipino supporters filled the stands, turning the arena into something that felt like a home match thousands of miles away. Her fans are not just supporters, they are a global phenomenon. Passionate, organized, loud, and willing to travel across continents to support their star. In Dubai, Eala delivered a performance that silenced doubters. She stormed through the draw and then faced world number 8 Jasmine Paolini in a match that highlighted every aspect of her game. Paolini is known for relentless defense and mental toughness, but Eala attacked with precision and confidence, putting together a display of modern, aggressive tennis that thrilled the crowd. Her run eventually set up a quarterfinal showdown with Coco Gauff, one of the most compelling matchups possible. The two players share a connection. They have teamed up in doubles and know each other's games well. Gauff ultimately won the match, proving why she remains one of the best players in the world. But the real story unfolded afterward. During her post-match interview, Gauff acknowledged the army of Eala fans who had filled the stadium with energy. She joked that whenever the crowd cheered for Eala, she simply pretended they were cheering for her instead. The audience erupted with laughter. That moment captured something bigger than the match itself. Alexandra Eala isn't just winning tennis matches. She's expanding the sport's global audience, bringing entirely new communities into tennis stadiums and conversations around the world, and even her rivals recognize the impact she's having.
I know you were mostly supporting Alex, but I have to say it is great to be on a crowded court. I played this tournament for many years, and to see the stadium full.
Coco, that was clinical from start to finish. I know you weren't quite pleased with your level yesterday. I'm sure you feel differently about it today.
Yeah, it was a bit better.
Alex, after a terrific year last year, how does it feel to be making your main draw debut in Melbourne?
It feels great. I'm super excited.